Listen to me carefully. Laziness is the real disease, not poverty, not failure, laziness. Every time you choose your bed over your goals, you are digging your own grave. Life is slipping out of your hands while you scroll, while you sleep, while you waste time. Winners don't care about feeling tired. They move, they grind, they build. Comfort is poison and struggle is the cure. Success isn't patient. It doesn't wait for the lazy. It rewards the hungry, the disciplined, the relentless. So either you kill your laziness right now, or one day it will kill every dream you ever had. Wake up, move, work. Your future depends on it. Laziness is the silent killer. You think failure is your biggest enemy? No. Failure teaches you. Failure punches you in the face. And if you're strong enough, you'll get back up. But laziness doesn't give you a chance. It kills you slowly, quietly, without you even noticing. One day turns into a week turns into a month, and suddenly you've lost a year of your life, and you don't even realize it until it's too late. That's the danger of laziness. It tricks you into thinking you've got time, but time is the one thing you'll never get back. I remember when I was broke, sitting in a tiny flat in Luton with no money, no car, and no future in sight. I could have said, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll figure it out later. That's what lazy people do, That's what lazy people do. They delay, they convince themselves there's always another chance. But I knew if I let laziness win even once, it would become my identity. I refused to give it room. When the world said rest, I worked. When people laughed at me, I trained harder. Harfler. When I had nothing, I still acted like I was destined for everything. Because I understood that laziness doesn't just take your time, it steals your entire destiny. Most of you don't fail because life is unfair, or because the world is against you. You fail because you choose comfort over action. You fail because you can't get out of bed when the alarm rings. You fail because you let another man outwork you while you sat scrolling, eating, or daydreaming. Laziness is the assassin of ambition, and it doesn't attack you with a sword. It attacks you with a pillow, with comfort, with excuses, with I'll do it later. I was tired. I was broke. I was lost, but I refused to be lazy. I forced myself to move even when it hurt, even when I didn't want to. And that's the difference between me and the millions of men who will die unknown. Laziness killed them before life had a chance to test them. If you don't kill your laziness, it will bury your dreams while you're still alive. Yeah, kill your laziness before it kills you. Every second you waste is a piece of your life you'll never get back. People don't understand how brutal that truth is. They think time is infinite, like they've got years and years to figure things out. But one day you'll wake up and realize half your life is gone, and you did nothing with it. That's the tax laziness or procrastination take. You pay with the most valuable currency on earth, your time. When I was younger, broke, sitting in a freezing apartment with barely enough money for food, I didn't have the luxury to waste hours. I couldn't afford to. I remember staring at the ceiling some nights, angry at myself, angry at the world, and I had a choice. I could sit there sulking, wasting more of my life, or I could get up and do something, anything that would push me forward. I understood that every moment of weakness, every second spent scrolling or sleeping when I didn't need to, was me robbing my future self. Time is the one resource you can't earn back. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose friends and find new ones, but time, once it's gone forever. That's why I became obsessed with action. I never allowed myself to sit idle because I knew the clock was always ticking. I watched people around me, men with potential, men with intelligence, burn their hours on nonsense. Drinking, gaming, wasting evenings on distractions. Years later, they were still in the same place, same excuses, same nothing. And I had moved forward because I refused to let time slip through my fingers. You think you got tomorrow. You think you can start next week, but life doesn't wait. The seconds you waste today are gone for good. And when you add up all those wasted seconds, you've lost entire years. That's why so many people end up bitter, old, and full of regret because they traded their future for a little comfort in the present. I decided long ago I'd rather suffer now than suffer forever. That's why I guard my time like a weapon, because I know it's the only thing I truly own. Every second wasted is death in disguise. Stop wasting time. You're not getting it back. Discipline will take you where motivation never can. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes like the weather. You can't rely on it. Some mornings you'll wake up and feel ready to conquer the world, but other mornings you'll feel weak, tired, drained. If you only move when you feel motivated, you'll never get anywhere. The man who wins is the man who acts regardless of how he feels. That's discipline. When I was broke, struggling to pay rent, I wasn't motivated every day. There were nights I couldn't sleep because of stress. Mornings I woke up exhausted. Did I feel like working, hustling, training, pushing myself? No, but I did it anyway because I knew discipline is the difference between success and failure. Motivation whispers, maybe tomorrow. Discipline commands. Now, and I chose now, even when my body screamed for rest, even when my mind tried to bargain with excuses. I remember training for fights when everything in me wanted to stop. My body ached, my lungs burned, and part of me begged to quit. But I refused because I understood something. If I let weakness win once, it would win again and again until it owned me. Discipline meant ignoring the voice that told me to quit and listening only to the voice that told me to keep going. That's why I won, not because I was always motivated, but because I built the habit of moving forward no matter what. Most of you wait for motivation like it's some magic fuel. You sit around until you feel ready. That's why you're stuck. Discipline doesn't care if you're ready. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, if you're sad, if you've had a bad day. Discipline says do it anyway, and when you do, you become unstoppable. I built my life on discipline, not feelings. Motivation gave me sparks, but discipline lit the fire that never went out. That's the only reason I escaped the life I was born into, because I didn't wait to feel like a winner. I acted like one until I became one. Discipline is the weapon. Use it or be destroyed by your own weakness. Comfort zones create weak men. Every single person who has ever achieved greatness has one thing in common. They stepped into discomfort, into struggle, into pain. Comfort is easy, but easy never builds strength. When life is too soft, when everything around you is safe and predictable, you become fragile. And fragile men get crushed the moment life throws pressure at them. When I was broke, there was no comfort. My flat was freezing in winter. I'd sleep wearing multiple layers because I couldn't afford proper heating. I ate the cheapest food I could find, and every day was a fight just to stay afloat. And yet that suffering hardened me. It forced me to adapt, to push, to grind. I didn't have the luxury of laziness because if I stopped moving, I wouldn't survive. Looking back, those moments of discomfort were the foundation of my strength. Most of you avoid struggle like it's a disease. You want a comfortable bed, a comfortable job, a comfortable routine. But the truth is that comfort is killing you. The gym hurts, so you skip it. Waking up early is hard, so you sleep in. Starting a business is risky, so you stick to your safe little paycheck. And then you wonder why you feel weak, why life feels meaningless. It's because you're trapped in comfort, and comfort strips away your power. I train myself to run toward discomfort, not away from it. Every time I felt pain in training, I reminded myself that's growth. Every time I struggled to make money, I told myself that's building character. The fight, the hardship, the uncertainty, that's where men are forged. You don't build muscle lifting feathers. You don't build resilience living easy. You build it in the fire, in the suffering, in the days when everything feels impossible, but you move anyway. The world respects the strong, and strength is only born from discomfort. If you choose comfort, you're choosing weakness. And when life tests you, and you'll break because you never prepared for war. Step into discomfort because that's the only place greatness is born. Success doesn't wait. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're broke, if you've had a bad childhood, or if you feel like you need more time to prepare. Success moves forward with or without you, and if you're not ready, it will simply pass you by and land in the hands of the man who was, when I was struggling in my early years, there were so many moments where I felt like I wasn't ready. I didn't have the money, I didn't have the resources, I didn't even have the confidence sometimes. But I realized something brutal. Nobody was going to pause the world and give me time to catch up. Opportunities were appearing and disappearing every day, and if I didn't grab them with both hands, someone else would. That's how life works. It doesn't slow down for the lazy or the unprepared. It rewards the man who acts immediately, even if he's scared, even if he's not ready, even if he's risking it all. I remember hustling when I was broke, trying to figure out how to stretch every dollar. I didn't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. I chased opportunities while others sat around convincing themselves they needed more time. That's why they're still in the same place, and I'm not. Success didn't wait for them, and it won't wait for you either. The truth is, while you're hesitating, someone else is already moving. While you're debating if it's the right time, someone else is taking action. While you're making excuses, someone hungrier, more disciplined is seizing the exact chance you let slip. And once it's gone, it's gone. Life doesn't hand out second chances to the lazy. I built my life by refusing to wait. Even when I was uncertain, even when I was scared of failure, I acted. I knew standing still was the fastest way to lose. That's why I moved forward, no matter what. Because I understood the truth most men ignore. Success doesn't wait for anyone. You act now or watch someone else live the life you are too slow to claim. Kill your laziness today, or it will bury you tomorrow. That's not just a warning, that's a fact. Laziness doesn't destroy you all at once. It eats you alive piece by piece. You think you can get away with skipping one workout, missing one opportunity, wasting one day, but that one day becomes two, then a week, then a month. Before you know it, years are gone, and all you have left are excuses and regret. When I was broke and unknown, I had every reason to be lazy. I had days where I felt crushed under the weight of my situation, wondering if I'd ever escape. It would have been easy to sit back, to let the world move without me, to say, I'll start tomorrow. But I knew tomorrow wasn't promised. I knew if I didn't kill that laziness immediately, it would spread, it would own me, and I'd die the same man I was born, weak, average, invisible. That thought scared me more than any amount of hard work ever could. I forced myself to move when everything in me wanted to stop. I forced myself to work when my body screamed for rest. And that decision, repeated every single day, is the reason I escaped mediocrity. Laziness was always there, whispering in my ear, offering comfort, offering safety, but I treated it like an enemy. I fought it daily because I understood the truth. Laziness doesn't just make you poor, it makes you nothing. It robs you of your purpose, your dreams, your future. Most men let laziness run their lives. They tell themselves they'll get serious later. Later never comes. Their laziness buries them alive, and by the time they realize, it's too late. They're old, weak, bitter, and broken, with nothing left but wasted years. That's the grave laziness digs for you. I refuse to fall into that trap. I killed my laziness before it killed me. And that's the only reason I'm standing here with a life worth living. Kill your laziness today, or it will bury you tomorrow.